We have 1 hour, and yeah, hopefully some things to discuss. And I will show you only a few slides about our board meeting. We had a couple of, well, almost 2 weeks ago, and where we and I want to present the outcome and would like to discuss it with you and see what happened. Actually, we have Rima, Dwight, and Nick. So including me, it's 4 out of 9. It's not only me who is very, very well informed about the board meeting. There are 3 others in the room that might add or amend or comment or whatever. We do this board meeting on a yearly basis, and we are always discussing about our strategy. Are we still in line with the strategy? What do we need to amend? Is it our action plan or is it the strategy? There's always something that could be improved. But we very quick come to the first result. We don't need to amend the strategy. The strategy is still valid. And as all of you know, this sentence, to be a leader in the development of management consulting as a global profession that drives social and economic success, that is still our statement. And we are still trying to improve ourselves in terms of achieving this, and there's still a long way to go. We did some very good steps at the beginning, but there's still a long there's still very much to do. The first board meeting that I chaired as a chair was in spring 2022, and we defined these 3 pillars. It's about ethics and standards, knowledge development and sharing, and representation. And along these pillars, we defined different measures, different activities, different actions. And in our second board meeting that took place in Amman last year, the main topic was, how can we be more open and more agile as an organization? How can we make the next step to be a mature organization? And all the policies like the agile hubs, the observer status, and so on, to be more open and more agile, to connect with different stakeholders in the management consulting community. That was the outcome of the previous board meeting. Also, as well, the new path to CMC, the so-called intermediate level, and other issues related to maturity. At this time already, the UNIDE project was on the agenda, and we discussed how to proceed. And yeah, and many things happened. Many things took place in the last year. To mention, like the ICMCI Services Inc., the business entity of ICMCI, we founded in Delaware, and now everything is in place, everything is prepared. We, from a technical point, from an organizational point, we are the first time in ICMCI history, we are in a situation that we can approach management consultants directly. We can be part of the market. We can demonstrate, and we can deliver trainings and other services like certifications. So we decided there are so many things happening, and it would be a good time to have a discussion about a vision, and we called it ICMCI Vision 2030. So that's 6 years from today. And how will ICMCI look like in 6 years? That is to have a better understanding in which direction we go, and where is our focus, and where do we need to set priorities, and to achieve a common understanding within the board, but also with our members and the member institutes, with the delegates. We defined 13 aspirations. We call it aspirations, which is not, it's not a goal, it's not a specific target, it's not along with a KPI. It cannot be measured. It doesn't mean necessarily that there will be immediate actions taken. There are some aspirations where we define that immediate actions are necessary, And there are other aspirations which are on the table, but not in a very urgent way. That needs to be they need to be on the table, and they need to be discussed, but it's not necessarily something that we want to deliver in very, very concrete actions, because we cannot do everything at the same time. But to decide where the priorities are, we need to have a full picture and the same understanding about the full pictures, and that was the purpose of these aspirations. I would like to go through these aspirations, because I think every single aspiration it's not a very systematic approach. It is more an approach of a brainstorming. So the aspirations that are coming up, they don't have a specific order. It might be confusing because we switch from one side to another side, but all relations are related to each other. So the order it doesn't make any not any very important sense. This first aspiration, which is called to be recognized in the management consulting ecosystem advocacy, to be recognized as the voice of the profession. That is the first aspiration, and you see it's a brief sentence. It's not very strictly committed to numbers. I think we are in a good way to that, but we are far away to be really recognized in the ecosystem. Many organizations know us, and we are recognized by some participants of the ecosystems, but by far not to that extent that we want to achieve. The second aspiration is about IQA, the Institute's quality assurance. That is, as you all know, it's an independent body within ICMCI by now. That is important with regards to the 17011 accreditation. And we want to extend the activities of this of the IQA, and provide services in terms of accreditations, not only related in terms of CMC within ICMCI. It could approach other organizations like ICMCI or other bodies to offer the services of IQA. Another aspiration is developing steps toward regulation and self-regulation. That is something that's coming up from time to time, and it's discussed to a very large extent. And we think that now, as things move in the direction of ethics of consulting, this discussion might gain additional spin, and it might be back again to a certain time. We don't know exactly when, but we should be prepared. And maybe we want to push this topic. We don't have a common opinion about that in ICMCI. I do know we had very intensive discussions along with the ISO 20700, but this is not necessarily ICMCI. And when we're talking about ethics in consulting, it is related to some sort of regulation. Is it self-regulation or other regulations? In different countries, it's different. Like in my home country, in Austria, we have a regulation by law, but other countries have different sorts of regulations. Another aspiration is to go more in the direction of a joined-up community with a culture of belonging and commitment. That is something that takes care about how do we deal with our direct community, how do we communicate to each other, and is there any way to be more in line and have a more intensive ongoing communication. Some of you know that from the committees. They're very well connected and contribute in the committees and have very good discussions. But sometimes we have the feeling that we have an annual meeting, and once everybody's gone from the annual meeting and sits in the plane, well, we need to go back to our home and do daily business, and then to communicate with our friends and within the community gets often lost. And we want to try to improve this quality of communication, and to be more in direct contact, especially with our member institutes. If there is anything that ICMCI can do for the member institutes, it might be better discussed and better communicated. I already mentioned the ICMCI Services Inc. that was founded a couple of weeks ago in Delaware, and one first product will be what we call the ICMCI Academy, that will offer and deliver trainings in countries where ICMCI is not present with the member institute. We have 200 countries on this globe. In 50 countries, ICMCI has member institutes. So in theory, we would have 150 countries where we can be active without any further topics with regards to compete our members. We don't want to compete the members, we want to support members, and we want to be active in countries where we do not have members active. Maybe we can win more members out of these activities. Not maybe, that's one of the main purposes of these activities. But ICMCI Academy should be established as a global relevant provider for training courses by 2030. Still, it's 6 years to go, but 6 years, it sounds a very long term, but it is actually, to achieve that, 6 years, it's not so long term. Why do we do that? One of the reasons is the sustainable and robust revenue stream that we need as an ICMCI. By now, we can cover our cost, we can be active to a certain extent. But to achieve these aspirations, like to be a recognized partner in the global consulting community, to be more present with promotions, it's a term of resources in terms of money, but also in terms of human resources, and we need to fund that, and that means we need a sustainable, robust revenue stream. And I think there is a common opinion in the board that we say one option would be to go to our members and ask them, please, could you pay 2 or 3 or 4 times what you are paying now? I don't think that would be a good idea, and I don't think it's necessary, because we do have other ways to fund ICMCI more in terms of being more professional. We want to have a strong relation with the industry. I say industry now, it's not the profession. We see the industry as part of the profession. The industry is, it's more or less the big 4 or 5, 6, and some other international acting firms. And we see the industry not as a competitor. Sometimes we don't have the same opinion. Sometimes it's we see ourselves as a competitor to the industry, but sometimes the industry is a competitor to the profession. But at the end of the day, we are sitting in the same boat. And at the end of the day, we should not make the failure to divide the profession in 2 different sections. One is the big and one is the small. I think we should seek collaboration with the industry. Another aspiration is to be available in 80% of the countries. Available does not mean necessarily available with the member institute. I mentioned already the activities of the Services Inc. That would be the lowest level. There is another level with GI. We do have the GI in operation. They are active. They are active in different parts of the world, in different countries. And the purpose of the GI is to have the first step to work with a group of consultants together with ICMCI. It's not a full member institute. A full member institute needs to fulfill other things. They need to be an institute, an association. And so all in all, present via Services Inc., present via GI, or with members, we would like to achieve 80% of the countries are being in touch in any kind with ICMCI. CMC, that's why we were founded, and this is why ICMCI exists. It has to be an aspiration, and every time when we discuss our strategy, at the end of the day, we decide the CMC is still the core product. All we do is related to improve and enhance the visibility and the value proposition of CMC. We do have activities on and on and on, but there will never be enough activities delivered with regards to this aspiration. It's not only that we want to have a revenue stream from the services Inc. It's also about elevate the income by implementing a donor-related strategy. Donor-related strategy means that we will approach big global donor associations to collaborate with us. We feel that is a good strategy, but the first step to do so is that we need to identify them, and we need to find out what is missing from our side, which homeworks do we need to do, because they speak with us when they feel we are the face of the global management consulting profession, or the global face of the management consulting profession. And to do so, there are some homework to do, and that's the beginning of this strategy. To be recognized by a sufficient number of industries or organizations or governments, that's always on our agenda. And we started that, I don't know how many years ago, but it's still a very important aspiration. And I want to recall our strategy with the Agile Hubs. This is exactly what we are addressing with this aspiration. It's still an aspiration. It doesn't mean we did the first step, so we can forget about it. It's the other way around. The more steps we achieve, the more we need to do to be recognized by our different stakeholders. And then we have a new aspiration that's new for ICMCI activities, but we think that we need to have a statement in terms of sustainability. We want to have a task force. We want to start with a task force that has actually two different goals. One goal is we should have an ICMCI strategy, how to deal with sustainability as an organization. And it looks like, but that needs to be discussed in the task force, but it looks like that we will commit to some of the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and communicate that. So if we pick maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 goals out of the 17 SDGs, which we can easily commit to, and then we need to set up the reporting system, but then we can communicate to the market that we are committed to these goals of the SDGs, and it will be set up in a way that the IMCs can take that and use that for them, for their activities in terms of sustainability, because they are members of ICMCI. And if ICMCI is contributing to a specific goal of the SDGs, our members will do most probably, not to full extent maybe, but that needs to be found out. And the second part of the task force will be to develop a consulting methodology, how to implement sustainability, different approaches of sustainability, different concepts of sustainability that includes the SDGs, but also includes ESG, also includes other activities, other concepts in terms of sustainable management. And we need to work on a methodology and make this methodology available for management consultants to show how can we transfer a political declaration, and sustainability is more or less a political declaration done on a very, very high political level in the United Nations, and everybody says, okay, we need sustainability, but how can we transform that to business? How can we transform that to the economy, to the companies? what does it mean to the companies, and who else but us can do it. It's only the management consulting community that is able to do that. And for the time being, we're a little bit too weak with regards to that. But I think it's something we can catch up quite quick. And we want to present that in the annual meeting and the conference that takes place in October in Yerevan. And the conference topic is all about sustainability. So what else than dealing with sustainability should be on the table now today? And the last aspiration is having ICMCI services incorporated, operating and contributing a significant impact on to the ICMCI revenue. It's a 2030 visions, as I mentioned, so that will take a couple of years, but we need to start, and we need to be with very small steps, because we are not in the situation that we can fund a big business plan and fund big marketing activities. We are not a startup that can go to some investors and ask them for a couple of millions. It is the entity of ICMCI, the business entity, and it's very strict and very clear. ICMCI Services Inc. is business. It makes business to contribute to the revenue stream of ICMCI. So these are these 13 aspirations, and to show them in one table, I assigned to each one of these 13 aspiration our strategic pillars. They all are complying to one or more strategic pillars. So it's not something new that we are doing. It's just to bring the strategy down to these 13 aspirations that will guide us to the next 6 years. We will do that on an annual basis and improve, are these aspirations still valid? Do we reduce the aspirations, or do we want to add some more aspirations? That will be discussed in a more systematic approach in the next years. And for some of these aspirations, we have some immediate actions. This is on the right side of this table. So for the SDGs topic, I already mentioned, we will set up the strategy for ICMCI as an organization, but also for the methodology. We will start with that very quick to be ready with the first draft in the conference. We want to push more the agile hubs. The agile hubs, that means the hubs fitted to the regional needs, like the European hub and the Asian or the Americas hub. They have different needs, and the hubs can decide on themselves where to go and what are the resources they need. But the topic is they need to be the missing link between the national IMC and the regional organizations and the regional political institutes. We go further with the 17011 accreditation for the IQA, and all these concrete activities are on the action list. And the most important, of course, to bring ICMCI Services Inc. to run, and to bring it to run in a way that it's making money. That's the purpose. It's business. I already mentioned that. I want to highlight some more things that have been discussed and that should complete the picture of the last of these couple of days. It's not only about having dinner; it's also about having very good discussions with in a wonderful team. The UNIDO project is going on very well. We are in the final phase of setting up the memorandum of understanding. Rima, she's the chief negotiator, and she's doing an excellent job to deal with the UNIDO to set up all these. Yeah, the final MOU. It's an umbrella memorandum. Now the first specific project is for the Ghana project for Ghana, but UNIDO clearly asks for a full support for their activities in the African continent, for the entire African continent. So what they want to have is ICMCI trains and certifies management consultants who supporting the developing programs of UNIDO in Africa. So it's good for us. There's a lot to do, but it sometimes, yeah, it's a political organization, and it's not a business entity, as all of you know. We are starting with our risk management system that we have been agreeing last year, and we're going forward step by step. The main thing is how to achieve to be in line with the requirements for risk management, to manage risks, meaning identify them and meaning to manage them, but also with limited resources. The risk management system is something that if the managing of the risk management system takes too much resources, we won't have any other risks than because everybody would be committed to manage the risk. So that needs to be very well measured, and I think we are in a very good way. We have a marketing strategy in place, which was, where's Alexander? She's gone, maybe, I don't know. But we do have our marketing strategy, which is campaign-based, and we will deliver a very clear number of campaigns on a yearly planning base. So we will inform our members about these campaigns, which will be something between 5 or 10, I don't know, but it's not in terms of having a campaign every week. We need to have in mind that the audience has a limit to watch, to receive mails or watch movies or whatever. They donate time, and we need to be very careful with this time they donate to ICMCI. And we are having a white paper. We are working on a white paper about artificial intelligence. That's the outcome of the last conference in Amman, and this white paper will be presented on the International Consultancy Day together with the NCI, the National Consulting Index, by beginning of June. Finally, some dates. They are already in your calendars, I guess. It's the International Consultancy Day on June. We will present, as I said, the NCI and the white paper. On June the 17th, the EuroHub will take place. So on the day before in Sofia, we will have the online celebration of the International Consultancy Day. The annual meeting of delegates and the conference will take place between the 9th and the 12th October in this year. It will take place in Yerevan. All of you know, I just want to recall it. Just in case if you haven't been booking now, just go to the website and bring it in your calendar. We will have some resolutions, most probably, but we will have elections prior to the annual meeting, as the term of some members of the board are ending, like mine, for example, and other members. So new faces, new members of the board. And of course, the Constantinos International, it's so important for us to achieve this aspiration to be more present in the ecosystem. Therefore, an award like the Constantinos International is an excellent tool to approach this community, just like the NCI. Okay, that was quite quick. I hope I didn't miss something important. Please, Nick or Dwight or Rima, if there is anything that I've been missing, edit. Let me stop my screen. Any discussions, any opinions, whatever, I'm happy to discuss.
Robert, it's Sue here. Just I was interested to see the aspiration for IQA, and obviously I'm quite closely involved with that. We've got our experience exchange day tomorrow, 2 sessions. Dwight has very kindly provided something for us on that, which introduces the governance from the ICMCI perspective, and then leading on from that, the implications for IQA, both in terms of that governance, but also in terms of ISO 17011. I'm also introducing the branding, which we've been working on. So that will be great to share with the assessors tomorrow. And really to go through with them now the impact of 17011 and what that means. So we've set up a function which is all around assessors operational management. And again, that's in line with 17011. So Nick carried out our internal audit last November, and we're pretty much ready now. Christian's doing quite a lot of work on tidying that up now, but so that was done last November, so we're hopeful to get the external audit done quite soon on that. So it's quite interesting. There's a lot of work that's been done last year, and a lot that we'll be implementing this year. So it's good. The approach to 17011 was always generic, so that currently it's used for CMC and 17024, but it enables it quite easily to be tailored to any future challenges or accreditations that come along our way. So we're ready to go pretty much with all of that now. So as I say, it'll be an interesting year for us, I think, and hopefully taking forward lots of good stuff for IQA, just to demonstrate our independence as an accreditation body. So it's all good. So it was good to see that on your list of aspirations. So thank you for that.
It's not a coincidence. It's because Nick reported on that, and we said, okay, if IQA is that far, then we can do the next step. And when we started with the accreditation body, the independent accreditation body, 17011, we started with that, I don't know how many years ago, but at this time we knew that it will be not, it sounds very easy, but in theory, it sounds easy. In practical life, there are so many minor things to do and so many things to be in the right part of your brain, to be in mind and at the right time. And I think there's still some homework to do. It's not that everything is settled, but we are on a stage that we can do the next step and reach out. And that's actually what we intended to do from the very beginning, but it took us, but it's good. It's good. And I think that needs time, and the better to, especially for this, better to do it good and well-defined and backed up in different ways than doing quick and dirty and then find out that it doesn't work out. We need to be very careful.
We've done quite a thorough job on it, and all the recommendations that Nick made last year, we've implemented those. So everything's rebranded now with our new branding. I think the documents look pretty good, but that's my personal view. I won't share with you the list of documents that we've worked on, but there's a lot, as Nick will testify. So Nick developed the original checklist, and then we've aligned everything with that checklist. So hopefully we're good to go, but we should see in the next couple of weeks or so.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, you know, these aspirations are really they're the picture of the exciting future ahead for ICMCI. And obviously, we work very hard to make the aspirations a reality for the future. But it's important, I think, also to recognize that we're doing all the internal things to make sure that when we really do step out to do some of these exciting things, we do have a good governance basis behind us as well. And Dwight's done a great job in putting together our picture of governance. And we're now putting a lot of things in place that guarantee our security for the future, like the risk management system, which we put in, absolutely essential to make sure that whatever steps we take, we identify the hazards that may be involved. And we're looking at all sorts of other things to put and make our governance realistic, like proper communications policy to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot by what we write or say or publish. We're working on a policy for procurement and the use of volunteers to make sure that we have good governance over any services that we engage, either internally or externally. And there's so many things going on, not just to build the external picture, but also to build a stable and robust base internally too.
I think this balance is one of the main challenges, to not to do too much internal and forgetting about the steps outside and approach stakeholders. And on the other side, not to only to have some marketing activities with no background and we cannot fulfill our promises. So to keep this balance, well, we know that from our business, it's always an issue.
Robert, I just wanted to also say, I haven't seen you in a long time, but hello. I was just thinking to myself as you were going through those aspirations, how much work has been done since the breakthrough strategy was first introduced. That was just, 11 years ago, and we've come so far forward. It's mind-boggling. I didn't realize that, that we could have accomplished all this. So congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you. It's to the team. It's I've been chairing for 3 years, and it's just a small part of the whole team, and it's so wonderful to work with that team. Thank you for that. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Hi, it's again good to see you all, and I'm very happy and inspired by today's information and chair's update. I'm looking forward to share this with the IMC Mongolia team, and hopefully they will contribute as much as we can. And there's a lot of good ideas, and definitely we consider them to our actions and measures to take. And at the moment that IMC Mongolia is undergoing the triennial assessment, and just in the middle of this, and that's great. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Okay, fine. If there are no further comments, let's call it a day. We will send out the video, and the presentation will be shared with you. So if you have any discussions in your institutes, you want to add, I think it's a very good time to do that now, because now everything is established to fulfill and to achieve our aspirations. Please don't tell us in 1 year, because then we might have lost 1 year. Tell us now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
you.
Let's call it a day. Have a nice rest of the day, depending where you are. And hope to see you soon. Well, the latest on the International Consultancy Day.